What's going on, guys? It's Cimo. So today I'm posing the question, should you buy Legendary Duelists Sisters of the Rose? Now, you guys know from my previous videos that I just love and adore Legendary Duelists. I think it's one of the greatest sets they've ever made. No, absolutely not. Legendary Duelists definitely has a more casual appeal, and I think that there are instances where it had glimpses of hope, especially with Legendary Duelists Ancient Millennium, but this has always just been a set that I've really never liked, but I always want to make sure I give you guys as much info as possible about these sets to help you guys make the most educated and informed decision that you can before you go on purchasing this product. But before we get into it, if you haven't already, be sure to subscribe to the channel and hit that notification bell so you guys don't miss a single upload. And if you really love the content that I produce on this channel, consider supporting me on Patreon or becoming a YouTube member, because it's thanks to the continued support of people like Sir Dwaggy that I'm able to bring you this content on a daily basis. So if you're interested, hit the join button down below or check out the links in the description. But without further ado, let's go ahead and get right into it. So before I get into the meat of Legendary Duelist Sister of the Rose, I want to go ahead and take a step back into the previous 3 iterations of Legendary Duelist. Now, if we go ahead over here and switch on to the computer screen, I want to go ahead and show you guys just how the other sets have kind of held up before I discuss Sisters of the Rose more in depth. So you can see now this is the first iteration Legendary Duelist with Joey, and it's going for about 50 bucks per box. Obviously, the box prices are going to fluctuate because it's an older set, so there's some collectability on sealed boxes. But if you see here, the most expensive cards in the set are like $12.50 for Red Eyes Baby Dragon. You know, you've got 10 bucks for Red Eyes Fang with Chain. Gearfried sitting at about 10 bucks as well. Slash Dragons at about 6. And then pretty much after that, it's like 5, 4, and then like 3. And then everything else pretty much in the set is almost worthless if you go to the next page. Now, moving on to Legendary Duelist 2, I did mention how I actually really liked Legendary Duelist 2 because I feel like it did the best job overall at kind of hitting the 3 pillars of what I feel a product like this should do. For anything like Legendary Duelist, I feel like if you're going to make a nostalgic based set, it needs to not only have some incredibly amazing legacy support that's really going to revamp or just kind of take that archetype into a new direction, it needs to have good reprints from those prior archetypes that, since we're dealing with older cards, some of those cards are vastly more expensive. And then third and finally, it needs to have a chase card for the competitive players. I feel like if you have that competitive card or the competitive cards or just some sort of competitive reprints even as well, then you're appealing to the casual, the collector, but you're also not leaving out the competitive player as well, and that way it's a set that everyone can look forward to. And I felt that Legendary Duelist Ancient Millennium did the best job at this, and as you can see, these boxes are going for $100 sealed, and that's because when you look, I mean, Ancient Gear Fusion's still like 32, you've got Crystal Bond, which is 24, Millennium Eyes Restrict, which is $20, I mean, Cocoon of Ultra Evolution is 10, Toon Kingdom is 8, so on and so forth. Now, what was I just saying? You know, you need to have some amazing legacy support. Ancient Gear Fusion is an incredibly powerful, good legacy support card. Crystal Bond, one of the best archetype-based search cards I think I've ever seen in my life. It's unfortunate it's for Crystal Beast, but still, that's how you do legacy support. Not to mention, you also have Millennium Eyes Restrict. That is your competitive chase card. This is a card that only fits with the theme of, you know, Ancient Millennium with all the Pegasus cards, but it's a competitively oriented card, and that's what makes it so good, is because it's something that the competitive players can get excited about while also still being in theme with the rest of the set. And then also having some good reprints. Remember, Toon Kingdom before Ancient Millennium came out was like a $30 to $40 secret rare that we only had in, I believe, Dragons of Legend 2 or 3. I know it's been a while, so I don't remember for sure, but having this reprinted, look, it's a rare and it's still an $8 rare. So yes, while it's not the most played card, from a collector standpoint, it made the card much easier to acquire, and that was definitely a good thing. So again, it hits all 3 of these pillars that I feel are very important in designing a set like this, so I actually didn't mind this set compared to all the rest. Then we got to White Dragon's Abyss, and things started to go south once again. I mean, Bingo Machine Go is still sitting at $28. This is basically the chase card of the set because Granted, it's a really good card, and it's kind of something that you could incorporate into a Blue Eyes deck if you really wanted to. It's another Searcher. You know, that's really the only good card in here. Yeah, Photon Orbital's in here at 11, Blue Eyes Chaos Dragon's in here at 8.50, but like everything else in here, look at this, $3, you know, Chaos Max is a reprint, so I guess that's okay because it was a reprint, but I mean, down here, $2, $2.50, like this set just in comparison to Legendary Duelist 2 was just such a disappointment. Now, again, Bingo Machine Go was still a good card, and reprinting Chaos Max wasn't the worst thing, but again, it just fell short for me in a lot of ways. So with that in mind, let's go ahead and enter Legendary Duelist Sisters of the Rose. So did this set manage to achieve all three of these pillars? And I honestly don't think so. So let's kind of go down the list. So the first pillar, does it have amazing legacy support? Well, there's definitely legacy support in this set. Now, obviously we can't really see the card pictures here, but these are the initial prices. This set is being released the day I'm recording this video, so these prices are still a little bit inflated, you know, 18 for Urgent Schedule and Perfumer. Supernaut, Dreadnought, Rail Cannon, Juggernaut, Lieb is still 16, which granted, that's one of the best cards in the set, so that might stay pretty high. Harpy's Feather Rest is 17. You know, a lot of the ultra rares are still like in the $15 range because it hasn't been cracked open enough, and we haven't seen a lot of these prices crash. So keep that in mind. You know, we've seen that with the other Legendary Duelist sets. Once the set is open, a lot of these prices, especially for anything that's not an ultra rare, is going to crash down to like the $2 to $3 price tag. So definitely don't be buying your singles now because it's definitely not worth it. So yes, there are some good legacy support reprints in here for sure. I mean, when it comes to the three archetypes that this set encompasses, you have your Harpy cards, you have your Rose Dragon cards, and then your Train cards. There's some pretty decent cards in here. I mean, Perfumer's a pretty decent card for what it is. Urgent Schedule's not bad. This new Super Dreadnought Rail Cannon is actually like ridiculous. Like, it's very niche because like, unless you're gonna be playing something that's already gonna play Gustav Max, that's not really going to come up too often. Like, yeah, you know, Thunder Dragons can play Gustav Max, but typically that's all they need. They don't need, like, another finisher like this that's really going to waste an extra deck slot, you know? So, you know, the cards are pretty decent. Harpy's Feather Rest, I think, is hysterical because it's a card that searches a banned card, so that absolutely has no purpose for us here. You know, I think Frozen Rose is actually a pretty decent card for what it is. I believe it is the card that allows you to either like draw 2 and discard 1 after you tribute a monster, or you get to like search for a level 4 lower plant. And I think it's a quick play too. So like that card is one of those cards that you want to keep on your radar because plants have always been able to kind of like sprawl around in different decks, especially with links. So again, that's a card that might see play if we get some more broken plant support, but nothing I've really, you know, nothing to really ride home about too much. So yeah, I would say like if it does, is there good legacy support? Like kind of, just barely good legacy support. Like we're not talking about like ancient millennium support here. Like it's not that good, but it's like, it's good enough that like I'm willing to let that slide. Now, when it comes to this, what about reprints? Well, I think that's one of the ways where the set falls short because, okay, this is a Harpy-oriented set, and yet you're not including cards like Harpy Channeler in here. You're not including cards like Harpy Dancer. These are both like $8 cards. I think Cyber Harpy is also still like an $8 card. And those are some of the best Harpy cards for the entire archetype. And you're not going to reprint them in a Harpy-oriented set? To me, that just makes absolutely no sense. And I know these cards aren't in high demand, which is kind of what makes the price somewhat high, is because not only the collectability standpoint, but because there isn't really a demand for it. But like, why would you not reprint them in here? It just doesn't really make a lot of sense to me because there's no other set that giving those cards a reprint's like adequately going to make sense. So, I don't know, it just seems disconnected to me that they would do something like that. And I'm sure you could say the same thing for some of the Black Rose Dragon cards or some of the Train cards as well. But overall, I mean, I just think they definitely fell short in that category. And last but not least, a competitive aspect to this set. And again, I definitely feel like this is where this set falls short because, you know, there isn't a Millennium Eyes Restrict for this set. There's not going to be this card that the competitive players are really going to want and chase after that's going to give it that slight appeal. And again, I know this is a casually / collector-oriented set, so by default, it doesn't have to include anything like that. And it's probably not, you know, it's probably naive to expect something like this. but why would you not throw something like that in there that just gives the competitive player something to be excited about? Because then that way it's just appealing to all three different audiences who would be purchasing this product. And yeah, sure, they're going to buy the singles anyway, but at least it's something to look forward to. But at this point, it's something that the entire competitive audience is just going to completely look at and just say, well, this isn't really something I care about. So overall, Legendary Duelist Sisters of the Rose, what do I think about it? What I'm going to say is, if you want to buy this product, I'm always going to recommend to buy the singles. You guys know that by now. That's always my mantra. But the thing is, especially with sets like this, definitely wait a few weeks for prices to settle. If you want to buy a box for $47, that's perfectly fine if you love opening packs. But if you just want like the Harpy cards, or if you just want like the Black Rose cards or whatever, once these prices tank after a couple weeks, you'll be able to get an entire set of every single card of the specific archetype that you want for what you would pay for a box of this set by buying the singles on a site like TCG Player, eBay, wherever you buy your singles. I just use TCG Player because it's the easiest one to showcase for you guys. Just wait and get what you want rather than hoping that you're gonna get it by opening a box of Sisters of the Rose. But guys, those are just my thoughts. Let me know down in the comments what you guys think about Sisters of the Rose. I'd really love to hear your thoughts. So guys, thank you so much for watching the video. Be sure to like the video as always. Subscribe to the channel for more amazing Yu-Gi-Oh content. And if you found this video helpful, consider supporting me on Patreon or becoming a YouTube channel member, because just by showing your support in any way that you can, you're investing in my ability to continue bringing you amazing Yu-Gi-Oh content. So thanks so much again, and we'll see you next time.